So I do want to go ahead and take a moment right now to capture this light source. This is the same position which you saw this morning. The moon is in the same position. And this is literally the same apartment that you saw the entity aiming the sun that was rising. And it's 5:50 p.m. So let's count together. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 10 hours ago. And this is the light source that's over my same apartment. I'm looking at it and the entity is engaging in aiming light into both of my bedrooms. And that's capturing the impossible. That's the phenomenon. But what I want you to see is that the entity is aiming it into the depths of the hallway. All right. This is new. The entity, and I want to be clear, what the entity does with light, this is the stalker through the light. Understand that, okay? Just like you see the light source following me everywhere I go. It's not the sun, and that's not the behavior of the sun. It's impossible. You are witnessing then and understanding, getting beyond the surface level and actually paying attention to the documentation. The sun is not over the Upland Public Library all day, also, nor is it over me at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles and over the Upland Public Library. Okay, and you're looking at what is the stalker through the light conduct. The entity is literally stalking with light. All right, the light activity, it invades, it expands, it molests, right? If you move away, there's moments where I would document the entity, and for example, if I'm sitting outside and I would be in the shade, the entity moves the directed light to touch me. Okay, it literally is stalking. This is the stalker. Okay, and this is the demonic. All right, so I want to be clear. This is in my hallway. There is no while the entity is engaging in what is again a false and unintelligent illusion. Based on this illusion, that light source is not far. It's clearly, this is an admission in every regard, an admission to engaging in terrorism, an admission because that's in every way impossible. You're looking at magnification. You're looking at leaves through trees, that level of magnification, and it's occurring in my hallway. So I'm just going to walk in it, right? Okay, that's light activity. That's why you engage in magnifying and shooting light like a laser. This is speaking to light that's in the air. Like shooting like a laser straight through the air, just like that, for me to be able to walk through it. That's not sunlight. And it's also not occurring when the sun is documented over the Upland Public Library, which my documentation establishes up until the time of closing. Upland Public Library closes at 6 p.m. On plenty of occasions, I walk out and the entity is maintaining the light source in alignment to me of the entrance doors. Engineered light also traveling into, as impossible as this is, traveling into the entrance doors, okay, of the Upland Public Library, and the light source is in alignment to me on Euclid Avenue, and it keeps it in alignment to me while I would then get on Route 83, the same bus where the entity is keeping the light source over me all day long. Route 83 runs north and south on Euclid Avenue, and as I would go south back toward Ontario on Euclid Avenue, the entity kept the light source in alignment to me as I traveled south back toward the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. That's where you're seeing the sun setting at Hope Boulevard and Euclid Avenue. Okay, that's how you get that. Stalking with light. This is a stalker. All right, this is what the people of the state are. This is constructive presence. This is a molestation. And this is also terrorism. Okay, there's no sun visible, no sun that's going to be visible while it's hovering over building 1818 and aiming light through my closed blinds into the depths. And this is exactly what they're doing in the morning. It doesn't get any more direct than that. They're doing this in the morning, and this is in the evening. And this is after capturing the maintenance of the light source all day long. This is, by the way, the direct evidence against the Upland Police Department and the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, who are group stalking at 10:49 in the morning on March 16, 2022, where I'm showing you on video at the same time here when I'm at Alvarado Gardens. I believe my video is captured at 10:52 a.m. and the entities group stalking via the Los Angeles Police Department and the people of the state. The two are not happening at the same time. And you're also looking at what's not even sunlight, and that same impossible light activity, which is already a phenomenon to capture at once. It's beyond a coincidence to capture that same impossible, unheard of, weird, creepy light. This is not normal light in another place on another occasion. Do you understand? That's what I mean. The substance of the evidence here, it's something that is establishing the case beyond a reasonable doubt, establishing the conspiracy between the people beyond clear and convincing evidence, which you need in order to prove any criminal case. You need to establish the conspiracy and the case itself, the pattern of conduct which exists. This is magnification into my hallway in Los Angeles, and the entity was keeping the light source here all day. The Caucasian female at the Upland Public Library, I'm referencing this because she's going to federal prison. Not only was she posing a threat, and this is the passive-aggressive, demon-possessed group stalker. On the one hand, Upland Police is group stalking me day and night by helicopter. Okay, but on the other, they want to appear friendly and disinterested, concerned with something else, while they are engaging in the same exact criminal presence, the same exact passive-aggressive criminal presence, okay, under the light source, which you see at the same time here at Alvarado Gardens, all right, while they're also bearing weapons. But they want you to appear, oh, they're not talking to her, okay, they're talking to somebody else. She's smiling. She's not even concerned about the targeted individual, all right? That's the POC. Because you're remembering what they're stalking in helicopters. That's a deliberate appearance of the entity that is in every way threatening your life and your safety while they want to maintain that appearance. But I want to be clear, it's a secret that they're monitoring you. It's a secret, it's malicious, and the targeted individual is suffering in silence, having nobody to report it to. All right. And I want to be clear, that's the malice of the demons that are stalking in helicopter. You see them hovering outside of my bedroom window day and night stalking. All right. And they have, LAPD has no appearance of legitimacy whatsoever. They are out and out stalkers, and that's on the face. It's unreasonable. It's an unreasonable disturbance, an unreasonable nuisance. They are, if you're talking about it's more than likely, and not even outside of the pattern of conduct, it's more likely than not, that what I'm saying is actually true. But I have more than that. The evidence of the pattern of conduct is substantiated with years of documentation, and LAPD is playing right into that. So anyway, this is the stalker, okay? This is the demon possessed who are stalking with light. Okay, and it's inside of the apartment while the entity is maintaining the light source, setting over me at the Upland Public Library, setting over me at the Fontana Lewis Library. Okay, the entity is setting over me at the Chino Branch Library. I documented all this while the demons of the Chino Police Department they want to appear disinterested, just roaming they're crossing path and engineered light, which is touching all the streets, and the entity has the light source in the distance in alignment to me, as though that's going to be visible through my window, and that's sunlight. No, it's the pattern of conduct while they are stalking in helicopters. So I want to be clear. I published this documentation and I gave close-up images of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department who engaged in multiple acts of kidnapping. And by the way, they were practicing this demonic, this ritualistic targeting system, this monitoring, demons pacing around, having multiple shadows, and the engineer light in the facility. That's what San Bernardino Sheriff's Department is doing. They were doing it in the facilities. They were engaged in demonic pacing. They were engaged in stalking with audible activity. Everything amplified inside of that jail. Literally, the demons that are the sheriff's department, all of these deputies, and also the inmates themselves, they were engaging in ongoing hardcore demonic activity. Okay, stalking with activity creation, maintaining engineered light in my cell, amplifying helicopter activity inside of the jail, having what is this gymnastics with light going across the walls, and those are tall walls inside of the jail. There's no window where the sun would be, first of all, adjacent to it, but what the entity does, there's no windows at the inside of the jails there. When I was kidnapped, the entity maintains a facility whereby there are windows on the wall. So the sun is above the buildings. The sun is not adjacent to the buildings. The entity, and even so, even if it was, the entity was engaging in light that appeared like literally stalker. The light was flat on the wall and it would slither down all the way down to the floor, and then it would go all the way across the floor, and then it would go all the way up the walls, and it stayed in the facility all day long, while demons that call themselves sheriffs and medical workers and the inmates were pacing around. All they were doing was pacing. And a demon that's working for the sheriff's department, they are pacing, and the form is, they're coming in to give an inmate something. They're coming in to pick up an inmate. They're coming in to drop off an inmate. They're coming in to do a medical check. They're coming in because an inmate has an emergency. They're coming in because they're doing their rounds. They were stalking in the path. You know what group stalking is? Understand the definition of group stalking. It's getting in the path, in the engineered light. Those demons were monitoring in those facilities. Okay? San Bernardino Sheriff's Department arriving is communicating a threat. They engage in kidnapping on one. That's why they can be there and smile. Do you understand? It's a threat by virtue of their presence. Understand that. Understand how Satan operates. These are very highly malicious, demon-possessed individuals. And I also want to be clear, there's nothing friendly about stalking day and night by helicopter. So this evidence is going against the Upland Police, who engaged in that very threatening. The more malicious it is, the more threatening it is. I want to be clear. A demon-possessed group stalker bearing weapons, smiling in your face is not friendly. That's very threatening, especially when the targeted individual is suffering in silence and cannot even articulate what they're subject to. and can't define it, okay? They're going to federal prison, and she also engaged in kidnapping, and the Sheriff's Department engaged in routine kidnapping with the Ontario Police Department and the Upland Police Department. All right, and while the documented maintenance of the environment is here, it is indeed evidence against the entity that was routinely engaging in group stalking and monitoring, which by itself, by a corrupt law enforcement agency, is grounds of federal prison. This is how all of this is tying in together. So you seeing the stalker inside of my apartment in LA, and this is engineered light. This is the stalker, okay? This is not normal light, and it's impossible, but you see it. That's why I want you to see it. That's indeed the light source through my bedroom window in Los Angeles while it remained over me in Upland, California. That's the direct evidence against the Upland Police Department. All right, and they engaged in kidnapping upon criminal monitoring, having no legitimacy whatsoever, having no legal authority. They're monitoring you. There's no such thing as probable cause. There's no such thing as the people of the state calling and telling them about something that you're doing, especially when they are literally creating the information. They're making up information. They're hostile to documentation, and the target individual isn't breaking the law by documenting. All right. And these are absolute psychopaths who are acting like there was actually a phone call made and that the entity that's monitoring and group stalking you gained any information. All right. They are engaged in an ongoing system. Criminal summoning is the means whereby that demon-possessed group stalker that's bearing weapons, stalking day and night in helicopter, is then present. And it's supposed to on the surface appear as though, oh, we're only here because we were called here. We were summoned here. It's called criminal summoning. And she's going to federal prison. You see her cheesing under the fake sun. She's going to federal prison. And she's done with law enforcement. And it's the same for that deputy that you see with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. He's going to federal prison. And the evidence that I continue to gather in 2024 is going toward what is the enhancement of their time in federal prison. It is no joke engaging in criminal monitoring. They are continuously being documented while I am still in seeking justice. Okay, and like I said, this goes all the way back. I could continue on and on, but I'm gonna digress here because the entity has engaged in the pattern of conduct in the courts. I'm going all the way back to Garza at the San Bernardino Superior Court. He's going to federal prison. All right, but I will elaborate on that later. This is POC. It is currently 6:01 p.m.